So we started 2 weeks ago doing this Thursday thing. It's a 30-day challenge. So this is week 3 of the challenge. Last week we discussed breathing, cold water, and breakfast. The week before was water, light, movement, meditation, and gratitude. If you missed each of those, go back and check them out because these are little lifestyle hacks or simple things that you can do. Very simply, give them a trial run, figure out what's effective for you, easily implement it in your life without uprooting your whole day, and you come out of the 30 days feeling grounded with a few new habits. That is the goal of this 30-day challenge. Hey Joyce, hey Teresa. Okay, so this week we are focusing on homeostasis. Hello Kim. Okay, both cognitively and physiologically. Okay, so they say the difference between wellness and illness is connection to others, to nature, and even a connection to yourself. Okay, so the health of these connections depends on how we deal with the daily stressors that come at us. We know we all have them. Okay, for most of us, we need to recharge in some areas to make those connections better. Okay, so where do you start when you're trying to create homeostasis? Is a state of like neutrality, if you want to think about it, where everything is at its baseline and the stressors take you up and sometimes they bring you low, and you need to get back to that level playing field. Okay, so where do you start? This week, number 1 is sleep. Or some type of time for brain cleansing, okay? Normal byproducts of metabolism are excreted from the body, especially the brain, when we are sleeping. Okay, we do our best healing when we are sleeping. So without adequate sleep, toxic cellular debris slowly compromises our physical immunity. Hello, Stuart. Hello, Mary. How are you guys? Okay, so that cellular debris kind of builds up in our brain while we are not sleeping, while we're not resting, while we're not recovering, if you will. The research is very clear on this. Those with healthy sleep habits have less incidence of colds and flu, markedly reduced risk for common diseases, including obesity, cardiovascular disease, and neurodegenerative diseases. And when we get good sleep, we reap a host of healthy benefits, and it's free. Sleep is free, so it's a really easy hack to incorporate into your life. So call it a night early, a couple of times a week. Put whatever work you have to do aside. It will get done the next day. I am so guilty of this, but I've been incorporating some of this since I did this talk. I wrote it out last week, and it really makes a difference. Just let it go. Okay, let it go. Number 2, time in nature. Okay, you may not know how extensive the physiological benefits can be of just being outside in Mother Nature's playground, if you want to call it that. Okay, the Japanese call it forest bathing, where time spent outside has been linked to decreased negative emotions and even improved post-surgical healing. Okay, that to me was impressive. Nature's improvements against our stress levels can actually be quantified, okay, and qualified. As little as 30 minutes in nature can reduce cortisol levels, pulse rate, and blood pressure while helping to regulate a balance between our sympathetic and our parasympathetic nervous systems, our fight or flight and our calming nervous systems. Unfortunately, more our children are spending more time indoors, that we're losing the benefit that nature has to offer us. And number 3, finding purpose. Our relationships may not be perfect, but by experiencing life at the side of other people, we find real connections. Modern lifestyles don't exist these days, okay? They emphasize many relationships are disconnected due to busy work schedules and due to our social media habits. Okay, we are so focused on being on our telephones, our computers, and in another world that connection person to person is really lost. So while chasing happiness isn't a biohack, really, chasing purpose through friendship and family absolutely is. Research indicates human connection is a fundamental and potent health promoter. Those with less screen time have lower odds for cardiovascular disease, arthritis, diabetes, dementia, and even suicide. And if people aren't your thing, pet ownership can do the same thing. Okay, so if you are not a people person, but you are a pet person, spend time with your pets. Love on them, let them love on you, and you will get the same health benefits that people provide. Some people and pets provide to others. And lastly, number 4, and I'm going to make a lot of enemies here, but this was just what was promoted in this 30-day challenge. Ditch the coffee. Okay, so don't hate me. The caffeine levels of coffee increase catecholamines, resulting in increased cortisol levels and insulin levels, which in turn lead to inflammation. And I say coffee, but if you drink tea, which I do, but I drink decaf tea and I drink green tea, the caffeine in tea can be equally as bad. Caffeine in soda, caffeine anywhere. Okay, so it really shouldn't be ditch the coffee. It should be ditch the caffeine, but hear me out. In addition, making your cells respond poorly to blood sugar because your insulin levels continue to be high. So you end up with insulin resistance. Therefore, you lead to type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, obesity, and the cycle goes round and round and round. No pun intended on the round. Okay, not to mention the acidity of coffee specifically can lead to heartburn, indigestion, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and can disrupt your gut microbiome. Okay, it all comes back to all the same things. The gut microbiome, it contains 70% or more of your immune system. You mess it up, your immune system is already working at a deficiency. Okay, so caffeine can also disrupt your circadian rhythms and disrupt proper sleep. Back to number 1. Here we go again. It all makes perfect sense. So the bottom line this week, connect with people or pets, get more sleep, and find your purpose. It sounds so simple. I know it isn't, but for anybody who's struggling, you need to find a place to start. Okay, so look at these last 3 weeks. They've been every Thursday. I think I have one more for next week. And really connect with something. Small changes. You can't, go cold turkey and do a 180 and expect to stick to it. You need to do small things every single day to see progress. So I hope this helps somebody. If you thought of somebody while I was chatting with you that this kind of rings true for them, tag them in the comments. My page is public, so you can tag any of your friends and let them hear this talk, because sometimes if it can't come from you, it has to come from somebody else. So on that note, I hope you guys are having an awesome Thursday, and I will be back again tomorrow for another Live in 5.